There's so much new cards this week, including the Titans, the Rescuers, Pluto, and so much more. Let's jump right in. Hi everyone, this is Disang from Mushu Report, where we cover all things Lorcana, and we got an even crazier week this week. Last week I said 24 cards was nuts. Well, we got 28 cards this week. So let's dive right into the cards themselves, starting off with Amber Ink. First up with Pluto Friendly Pooch, which was reviewed by citizens of Lorcana. So this is a 1-cost 0/2 character with the ability, when you exert it, you may pay 1 ink lesser for the next character you play this turn. So this is basically kind of like Lantern, but in the form of a character. And the thing is, it's a 1-cost, so it's actually really cheap to play. The best version is, of course, to actually play turn 1, maybe play this Pluto, and turn 2, you reduce by 1 cost, and with 2 ink, you can play Dog Leader of the 7 Dwarfs. And then by turn 3, you can reduce 1 cost via Pluto, reduce 1 cost via Dog, and that makes it able to shift into your shift 7 with Pluto Determined Defender, also reviewed by citizens of Lorcana. So this is a shift 5 character, 7 cost actually, strength 3, willpower 8 with law 2. So it's a bodyguard character, and it has the ability guard dog. At the start of your turn, you may remove up to 3 damage from this character. So this is actually a really strong character, especially since if you are doing the exact same combo that I mentioned, you're going to have Dog Leader of the 7 Dwarfs on the board. So that way you can protect your Dog Leader of 7 Dwarfs, and you can keep on reducing the ink cost to just keep on playing your higher cost characters easily, while your Pluto is over here defending all your characters with bodyguard. So that's a really nice combo to have, and definitely something to check out. Other than that, we also kind of jumping a little bit, but we got this event information for the Festival International des Jeux. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Cannes 2024. So this is an event in France, which is actually happening in 23rd to 25th February. So why am I mentioning this one right at this point of time? That's because they also showed off this banner that features the Dalmatians, with 2 Dalmatians with Perdita, the mother, of course, devoted mother, hopefully I translated that correctly, and Lucky, the 15th puppy. But that said, we don't have the full card image as you can see from this picture, so let's go off with Perdita, devoted mother, where we just get basically the cost of the card, which is a 6 cost, making it really expensive to play. Hopefully that makes her really good. Maybe she has the ability to just let you just bring out a whole bunch of Dalmatian puppies all at one go. Let's see, we don't have the card image for this one to go through in deeper yet. Next is, of course, Lucky, the 15th puppy. So this is a 4-cost puppy with the ability Good as New. Review the top 3 cards of your deck. You may put each character card with cost 2 or less into your hand, put the rest on the bottom of the deck in any order. And that's incomplete, so there's more stuff coming. And yeah, for 4 costs, that means that you're going to be able to take out your, of course, Dalmatian puppies from your deck. So hopefully you have some Dalmatian puppies in the first 3 cards, then you just play your Lucky and use the ability, exert it on the following turn to just review any Dalmatian puppies or any other low cost characters and just add them all to hand. That's the idea for Lucky. We'll revisit this card once we have the full image. Moving on, Queen of Hearts. This is actually one of the big highlights for this week because it actually gave us a full-on team deck to consider. She has the ability, whenever this character quests, your other villain characters all get +1 law this turn. So that actually really reminds me of course, Hades. Oh, before I forget, this was actually reviewed by the Glimmer Gang. This definitely reminds me of Hades, King of Olympus, the 8-cost shift character that gets +1 law for each other villain that you have in play. So that means you can actually build a full-on villain deck now to easily just have a bunch of villains on the board, and all of them are going to get extra 1 law with these Queen of Hearts when she quests, and also they're just going to give extra law to that Hades, King of Olympus, to just gain even more law very quickly. So what other villains they can go with is, of course, one of the hyper aggro decks with Amethyst. So there's a lot of villains there, your Maleficent and your Madam Mims, that's going to be working out very well for villains. Of course, you even have your high cost villains, not just the hyper aggro decks. You have your Ursula, your Yasma, and many more villains in Amethyst Ink as well. We need to see more cards for Into the Inklands before we can fully decide. Moving on, we have Bernard, brand new agent, has the ability I'll check it out at the end of your turn. If this character is exerted, you may ready another chosen character of yours. So this actually really reminds me of a bodyguard. It's a pseudo bodyguard because it's going to be able to ready your other characters of your choice. One of them, that means that character cannot be challenged since that character is ready. So yeah, it kind of works out as a bodyguard. And he has the same stats as Rapunzel, gifted healing. And the main combo, I think, for this card at the moment has got to be for Christopher Robin. Because Christopher Robin, if there's two other characters on the board, whenever he readies, you get to gain 2 lore. So that means Bernard can actually help you gain 2 lore for your Christopher Robin. Hopefully, say Christopher Robin has already quested for that turn. Then you bring out Bernard, and then you get Bernard to be exerted somehow. Then, yeah, you can actually get Christopher Robin to ready himself and gain 2 lore that way. And the best way to get him exerted is, of course, got to be Mufasa. If you get to bring out Bernard this way, Bernard comes out as exerted right away, and that means at the end turn, you can ready your Christopher Robin. So that's the idea for this one. Next Rescuers card is Miss Bianca, International Rescue Aid Society Agent. Honestly, this name is a bit long. I had to translate this one. I'm not too sure I got it that correct, but let's see. So this is a card that was reviewed by a German streamer, Lisa Grimm, with the exact same ability as Sebastian with Singer 4. So I'm not too sure why they made this card because she actually has the exact same stats and exact same cost. Cost 2 with 2 stats with 1 lore. There's actually no difference at all to Sebastian. But I guess it's nice to have an additional option to sing the 4-cost song that got revealed recently with And Then Along Came Zeus to deal 5 damage straight away to a character or location, which there's that many locations coming up, so that might be a good choice. Speaking of locations, we also got for Amber Ink Tiana's Palace Jazz Restaurant. So this is actually a really nice card that is kind of like a bodyguard for all the characters that's in the location. That said, the cost is actually kind of expensive. It costs 2 to move your characters in. Maybe this needs to be comboed with Jim Hawkins, since you can just play out your Tiana's Palace using Jim Hawkins' ability and just move it here for free. And finally, for Amber Ink, we have Cleansing Rainwater with the ability Ancient Power. Banish this item, remove up to 2 damage from each of your characters. On paper, I think this looks like a really nice card. For 2 costs, you can remove up to 2 damage from all of your characters. It sounds good, but healing is not really a big thing right now in Lorcana. Yes, there's Grand Pebby, but that deck hasn't really done too much in the meta at the moment, so I don't really expect Cleansing Rainwater to be played much for now. So that's Amber Ink. Moving on to Amethyst Ink, we are starting with Iago Pretty Polly. Iago is actually an evasive character with 3 costs, 3/2 stats, and so that's a nice option for Amethyst Ink to actually get another evasive. They haven't had too many evasive cards so far, so yeah, Pretty Polly gives them a nice choice to maybe take out your opponent's Minnie Mouse, the Ruby Ink 3-cost character with 1/3 stats. So yeah, this is a nice option for them. Moving on, we have Diablo, Loyal Familiar, which is of course the familiar to Maleficent, and you can even see it in the ability itself. So this is a 1-cost 2/1 character, the ability In Search of Aurora. When you play a character named Maleficent, you may look at the top card of your deck, and then check it. You can put it either back on the top or the bottom of your deck. So there's a lot of such abilities for Amethyst Ink with, of course, your Yasma Alchemist, Ursula's Cauldron. So yeah, this is another one of those abilities. This is actually a nice idea. I think that team decks are kind of becoming a thing for Into the Inklands. You have your villain deck, and now you also have a sort of a Maleficent deck. Not too sure how this will work out, but I do like the possibilities of having a team deck. It's better sounding to me compared to just like best ink decks, and then now it's like a best team deck. I actually like that a lot more better. Diablo was reviewed by Italian Instagrammer Giulia Amici. Another card with Diablo inside is gotta be Bestow a Gift, reviewed by the Illumitius. So this is a similar ability to Mama Odie, Voice of Wisdom, where that one was when she quests, you can move 2 damage counters to another character. This is a 1-cost action card that just moves it right away. That said, moving just 1 damage counter is kind of not enough. I kind of wish that this card was 2 costs and then you could move 2 damage counters instead. Then maybe it might be that bit more useful. I know that this card's artwork is really nice, it's absolutely fantastic, but that's also why I rather this card be that bit more useful so that people will actually be playing with this card and not just, putting it in the album to store it. Let's just get this card out more. Moving on, we have The Boss is on a Roll, reviewed by Lorcana Villain. So this card is really interesting since it helps you to set up your moves for possibly up to the next 5 turns. You can actually set up the cards and put it back in any order after you've seen them from the top of your deck. So this is a 3-cost song card. So on its own, I'm not sure I really expect to see it being played much, but it's definitely great to combo with other cards. Best combo would probably be the Sorcerer's Hat, so they can set up a card that you want to be on the top of the deck that you want to add to your hand, and then you can just use Sorcerer's Hat to name the card, add it to your hand right away, and you can play it out right away. So that's the main combo, and both are Amethyst cards, so that's the best way to use this card for now, though I'm kind of hopeful to see maybe there's better ways to make use of your deck setup cards. Otherwise, for now, The Boss is on a Roll is an okay card. I don't really expect to see it for now. Next card, we have Cursed Merfolk by Lorcana Illuminary. So I'm really excited for this one because when challenged, the opponent chooses and discards a card. That said though, this is a 1-cost 0/1 character stats with not that much stats to it, but it has 2 lore. That means your opponent will actually be pressured to try and take out this character quickly because otherwise you'll be keep on questing, and if they either just discard a card from their hand through the ability, or even if they use, say, Fire the Cannons to take out the Cursed Merfolk, either way you're going to be able to take out 1 card from their hand, so that's all good. So this is 1 card that I'm really looking forward to. Next, we have Don Carnage, a card that I got reminded of how to say by the Gamers Eric. So yeah, this is a card by Italian Instagrammer Regno Dreamers. It's a 5-cost 4/4 evasive, making this kind of basically similar to Ray. Ray is a 5-cost 3/3 evasive, but he has 1 more lore compared to Don Carnage. So yeah, it's a good thing because this extra 1 willpower will be great for Don Carnage to escape from Smash, which is something that Ray will be often taken out with. But that said, I think more people will still play Ray just because if you're going to be playing a full out evasive deck, then you're not going to be worrying too much about whether your opponent is going to have, say, Smash to take out Ray. Instead, what you're going to focus on is just want to keep on questing for more lore, and that 1 extra lore is actually a really big thing. So that's for Don Carnage. Moving on, we have Robin Hood Daydreamer. For big lore counts, then this is the one, another card by the Illuminatius. This is the lowest cost character so far that gives you 4 lore with no strings attached. He's just a vanilla, you just play him and he has 4 lore. And that's so much better because the next lowest cost character that's 4 lore is actually Madam Mim Purple Dragon, with the ability that you have to bounce 2 characters back to hand before you can play Madam Mim. Sure, that's evasive and all that, but yeah, it's not that great. Then following that, of course, is Mickey Mouse Brave Little Tailor. So with all that in mind, Robin Hood Daydreamer actually is a really nice card in terms of stats. He is quite chunky, 4/5. It's nice to keep him alive. And then, of course, you just quest for 4 lore. And of course, this is for Emerald Ink. So there's also the Queen Disguise Peddler. Then you can use the Queen to discard your Flynn Rider to gain 4 lore right away. Then, yeah, Robin Hood is also another character that the Queen can be discarding to just get you lore even faster. So, yeah, the Queen is actually a nice combo for this one. Next, we have Shenzi Pack Leader. It has the ability, I'll do it while this character is at a location. She gets +3 strength. So that's nice because 4 costs with 3/6 stats is actually really good. And it's important because she has another ability whenever she's at a location, she can challenge another character and you may draw a card. So all these are fantastic abilities. That said, they are all tied into location. So we need to see what's the last Emerald location. We know 2 so far to see what's best for Shenzi. Though right now, the locations for Emerald aren't that fantastic. The best one that I see so far for Shenzi to use is actually got to be Maui's Place of Exile, because all the characters in that location gain 1 resist, which is fantastic for Shenzi since you actually need to challenge to try and draw cards. Then yeah, you're gonna need that resist. It's gonna be useful. The weirdest thing was though, all the hyenas, everyone expected them to be cost 3 or less due to Scar Shameless Firebrand with the ability to actually ready all your cost 3 or lower characters. But Maybe you'll be getting another Shenzi later on, but yeah, I don't think that they'll give us another Shenzi right away in Into the Inklands, so it's kind of weird that we got a 4-cost hyena. Then we have Scroop Backstabber by Googly Glimmers, which this one is kind of an interesting release to say the least, because it's a 5-cost character with 2 5 stats, and the ability when this character is damaged, then he gets +3 strength to make it 5/5, not exactly 5/5 because you'll be damaged, so at minimum will be a 5/4. But that said, there's already Cut Soldier's full deck, which is also the same stats with basically 5 cost, 5/5 stats, and 2 lore. So it seems like a much better version of this. The only thing I can think of that why Scroop actually has to go through this hoop to actually gain that extra 3 strength is because of the classifications, because Scroop is also a villain. So you want to play a full-on villain deck. I'm not too sure about the Amber and Ruby combination, but that aside, if you want to play some decks that uses a classification, then yeah, you're gonna need to sort of pay a cost to make use of this card, because you're going to want Scroop over Card Soldier. Next, you have Rufus Orphanage Cat, which was reviewed by Instagrammer Silvia Fossati, and he has the exact same ability as Grammatella, which means that whenever he's banished, you can put the card into your Inkwell face down and exerted. At 5 cost, for Fire Ink, there's already a lot of things that's fighting for the same slots with your Cogsworth and with your Aurora and lots of other important cards that are fighting for that same 5 cost slot. So I don't really think Rufus will be played. Hopefully there'll be a 3 to 4 cost version of it later on. Next, we have Vault Door, revealed by the Forbidden Mountain. It's a 4-cost item card, so it's kind of expensive, with the ability, locations, and characters at the location all gain resist +1, which is a not bad way to give everyone extra protection, especially for Sapphire Ink, which has some of the best location cards right now, with Motonui that basically gives everyone in that location's Grammatella's ability, or also Bell's House, which is great for Item Slinger deck. So Bell's House Marie's Workshop is a really cheap card to play because it's just a 1-cost location card with a move cost of 2, which you'll definitely pay because you have a character here, you may pay 1 ink less to play items, which is a nice item card support that you can definitely consider trying out. Though that being said, there's probably better stuff for now. Like for example, Scrooge Top Hat, reviewed by Dark Talks. So this is a 2-cost item card that is basically another form of Lantern, but for item cards, because you can just exert this and you can pay 1 lesser ink for the next item card you play this turn. That said, I'm not too sure how many people will play Scrooge Top Hat, because you will actually want to play Fishbone Quill and 1 jump ahead more, because the idea is you just want to get more ink into your Inkwell so that later on you can play even your higher cost characters. You're not limited to item cards. So you want to play a high cost character with your Cogsworth, later on you want to go into Tamatoa and all the good stuff that you can get access to, which Scrooge Top Hat is not going to help you with. That said, if a full-on item slinger deck really works out, then Scrooge Top Hat is actually a really good card. Best of course is to use it with Mori's Workshop, because when you play another item card, they can pay 1 ink to draw a card, and the ink that is saved from Scrooge Top Hat would be just correct to be paying for the ink cost to draw a card and kind of get your whole combo going. So that's the idea for it, but for now, I don't really expect to see this card until item slinger decks become a next form of meta. Moving on, the card that we got kind of the earliest of the week so far with Kida Royal Warrior, which is a 2-cost steel character, 2/3 stats with Bodyguard. Sounds familiar? Because Simba Protective Cup has the exact same stats, has the exact same ability, but for Amber Ink. So this is definitely a good card that you would want to check out. Then for Treasure Planet, we have Map of Treasure Planet. So this is a 3-cost item card for the steel deck. So to make good use of Map of Treasure Island, you already need to play at least, for example, 1 location card and move 2 characters there to really get your worth back for the 3 ink that you paid for Map of Treasure Island. And then the only way it actually gains more worth is that you have to play more location cards and get more characters to move to more locations, then it's all worthwhile. I don't expect to see this card being played for now, unless it's a sort of a location meta, which I don't expect at all. Right now, I expect that location cards are kind of a supporting team. They will just be supporting some of the decks that you play. For example, like some people are playing Mouse Armor to give your stuff resist, then that's where location cards, where's their status right now. And the thing is, are location cards really that great to invest into? Because, well, there's already a full-on remover for location cards with Rise of the Titans, with the ability Banish Chosen Location or Item. It's a 3-cost card, so it's basically break, but now added in the ability for location. So that's the thing, there's already a way to outright remove locations and banish them regardless of how much willpower they have, regardless of how much resist they might have. It doesn't matter, they can just get banished outright. So that makes all the more investing into playing a full-on location deck at the moment kind of a bit harder. Once it becomes meta, a lot of people will play this Rise of the Titans, then yeah, that means it's not going to work out as a meta deck. But as I said earlier on, location cards can work out nicely as a sort of supporting card for a full-on deck that does not rely on that location card. So there's Rise of the Titans that is already an outright remover, and there's also another one with Olympus Would Be That Way, with a 1-cost action card that all your characters gain +3 strength while challenging a location. So sort of a cheaper version, but that being said, would you really want to play Olympus Would Be That Way when you outright already have Rise of the Titans? Because yes, it costs higher, but yeah, you don't really need to play Olympus Would Be That Way at all. So that's kind of disappointing that they use such a fantastic artwork on a card which outright is overpowered by Rise of the Titans. That's my thoughts on it. But hey, we got Titans with Hydros Ice Titan. This is a 3-cost character with 2 stats, 2 lore, the ability Exert and Exert a chosen character, which makes Hydros the exact same ability as Elsa Snow Queen. So just some slight changing in stats instead of 2-3 stats. So this one has 1 lesser willpower but 1 extra lore. That's not bad. I think that Hydros Ice Titan could be played over Elsa Snow Queen if you want that extra lore. That said, these are already kind of like overpowered by Pinocchio Talkative Puppet, which is that much better. It's a 2-cost character card. Yes, it only gets the ability once, but once you play Pinocchio, you get to exit the opponent's character right away. Compared to Hydros or Elsa Snow Queen, yes, they get to have the ability multiple times, but they need to be played for 1 turn first because they can't exert on the turn that they are played. So you have to wait 1 turn. In comparison, Pinocchio, you gotta exit your opponent's characters right away right after you play Pinocchio, which makes Pinocchio a much better card and still better in my opinion. And finally, we have Lytos Rock Titan. These Titans were reviewed by Live Laugh Lorcana, and actually I think that Lytos is a really interesting card because it's a 4-cost character with 4/1 stats, but he comes alright equipped with Resist +2, which is really nice. Resist +2, I'm sure many people already played. Resist +2 is really strong, but it also has the ability to exert and give another chosen character Resist +2 for the turn, which is really nice. That means that you can actually use it to just challenge into another opponent's character. That means it's fantastic for giving Resist +2 with, for example, your Tinkerbell Giant Fairy and all that kind of stuff to just make them that much stronger and survive that much longer. That said, I do wish the ability lasted beyond this turn and actually lasted to the following turn, like Mouse Armor, because Mouse Armor actually keeps your characters alive longer. That means that you can actually give your characters resist and you can safely quest with them and they can actually stay alive without getting damaged at all. Lytos is only going to be useful for when you're going to be challenging an opponent's character, which means that he's alright. There's going to be cards that can make use of Lytos, like I mentioned, Tinkerbell Giant Fairy, or for example, Lawrence, because you don't want Lawrence to get damaged, then yeah, that kind of stuff. But aside from that, I'm not too sure that Lytos is that great at the moment, but I think there's definitely potential for Lytos, and this is one card that you should definitely consider taking a look at for whatever steel deck that you might have. And that's about it. So that's all 28 cards for this week for the Disney Lorcana Into the Inklands card review. There's so much cards to go through, and yeah, next week is going to be even more crazy because currently we have 80 cards reviewed, but there's still 124 to go, and there's just 3 weeks barely left to the release. That means we need to get like 40 cards a week to actually be able to review all the cards by then. And we all know that's not going to happen. What's going to happen is on the final few days before the release, we're just going to get a massive drop, and one go we're going to be getting like 60, 70 cards. It's going to be nuts, and this is just going to keep on ramping up more and more. So yeah, it's crazy days ahead, but it's definitely fun times. I'm looking forward to Into the Inklands. Honestly, I'm enjoying this set right now a lot more compared to Rise of the Floodborn. I think there's a lot more interesting stuff here. There's more team decks going on compared to Rise of Floodborn. So far, it's been more like ink, best of the ink, and then you choose those ink combinations and combine them together. Right now, it's actually feeling like there's more team decks, your villain decks, with your Maleficent decks, and all that kind of stuff. And I hope to see all that more for Into the Inklands. And that's about it. So that's 28 cards reviewed in one single video. That's make it really long. So yeah, I'll try to see if I can do a midweek review of the cards that we get next week. Hopefully they release a few more at the earlier part of the week, which yes, I think that I'm going to be contributing to that as well. I will be having one card review coming up early next week, preferably about Tuesday is the time that I'm looking at. But yeah, let me work on that video too. So that's it, everyone. Thank you very much for watching. This is D. Samran from Mush Report, signing out. Goodbye, everyone.